Namastu.
Namastu.
Which means the divinity within me bows and recognizes the divinity within you. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Ka-Hun, Anku Sa Ra, and as always, we are grateful to those of you who may be joining us through Facebook or YouTube or however you may be joining us today. We encourage you to come down to historic Baintown any Sunday at 9 a.m. for our weekly Sunday services, or any Tuesday on Zoom. We are on Zoom at 6:30 thereabouts for our True Light Scriptural Study. On Wednesdays and Sundays we're with our Basesh. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for our weekly scriptural studies with Basesh, as well as on Sundays for our Sunday lectures, also with our Basesh. So 2 p.m. today we'll be on Zoom again. And we encourage you to bring your scriptures, bring your notebooks, and of course bring your questions, because we are, what type of church?
Teaching church.
We are a teaching church. For those of you who did make it to historic Baintown, again we say Namastu.
Namastu.
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Beautiful, beautiful. As always, I am excited to delve deeper into the my stories, or the mysteries of atonism. For those of you who have any portion of the original books of the Bible, whether it be Papyrus 1, the first 14 books before the African book of Genesis called the Bereshith, or the actual Bereshith, or the Istanjil, the book of Revelation from an African perspective, let us now hold it high as we say our weekly supplication for the original books of the Bible. I am an Atonist Christian.
I am an Atonist Christian.
And this is the original books of the Bible.
And this is the original books of the Bible.
It is the ancient African version of the scriptures.
It is the ancient African version of the scriptures.
It is a guidance sent unto me.
It is a guidance sent unto me.
It tells me how to live.
It tells me how to live.
It tells me who I am.
It tells me who I am.
And it tells me what I have the potential to become.
And it tells me what I have the potential to become.
This day,
This day
I shall learn from it.
I shall learn from it.
And that which I learn
And that which I learn
shall strengthen me.
shall strengthen me.
And with that,
And with that,
I am grateful
I am grateful
to Eneas.
to Anku
Amun.
Amun.
Independence morning.
Yes, sir.
It's like a baby born it. I couldn't resist. We want to say happy independence to Bahamians all around the world. Bahamians here in the Bahamas, of course, as we celebrate 48 years as an independent nation. And of course, we want to talk about this whole idea of independence, what it means to be independent, and ultimately how independence works with salvation, works with liberation. And it's important that we say it that way, because when we say happy independence, right, I feel in this country there are some who really try to tell the story of independence. I see some pretty cool documentaries and people who are telling the story of independence. How did we get here? I don't see enough of it though, for me personally. And maybe I just get older. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. Right? But independence is supposed, in my humble opinion, is supposed to be about teaching, especially the generations that weren't there. I wasn't there in 1973. I was on my way to becoming a zygote. Right? I wasn't there. And so obviously there are many, there are books that are written and there are accounts of what happened, and you can read those things. And every year I pick up a book and I learn something new about independence, right? But how many people do that? And I don't think a lot of us do it. And I don't even think a lot of the people who were there go back and read to kind of remember why this independence was so important for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'm saying all of that to say that in the Holy Qubtic Church, we have to be aware of our identity is not only Bahamians, which we're all proud of our Bahamian ancestry, but we understand that our Bahamian ancestry only goes back so far. I mean, we're talking 48 years. That's not even a blink in time with regard to who we as a people truly are. You understand? I mean, you can even go back to Haiti, 1804. That's only a blink in time with regard to who we as a, and I'm saying we because no Haitians or Bahamians or Jamaicans or Bajans or St. Lucians left Africa. Only Africans left Africa. You understand? So this idea that now we're going to share the reality of Africa and only carry the identity of Bahamian or Haitian or Jamaican or Bajan, etc., it's self-defeating. It's self-defeating. I love this chain of islands called the Bahamas. I love our waters. I don't think we have anywhere in the world where the waters are more beautiful. But I'm not going to give up Africa, a continent, for the Bahamas. And matter of fact, I don't think I have to give up the Bahamas for Africa either. I can be a Bahamian and I can love my African roots. And I say this to say that we are celebrating this independence. Independent from what?
Well, that's the question, Ka-Hun.
Independent from what?
Good question.
In 1964, I did so much reading last night because I really wanted to learn some new aspects of this whole reality of independence, yes? But in 1964, the Bahamas began what they call internal self-rule. So Roland Simonet became the premier, and we were now on our way to independence. Okay? Now there's way more to the story as I was reading last night, and I can't get into all that this morning. But I encourage you to go and read around that period of time to see what was actually going on. Because we were not truly, as a nation, carving out our independence. That's a myth. As a matter of fact, the year before, in 1963, when a select committee was called to put this constitution together, right? There were those, like the people in Abaco, who were not interested in independence. Matter of fact, even one of the founders of the PLP, Mr. Stevenson, he was not interested in independence either. And one of the main reasons for some people was, listen, it's just going to be too much for us as a nation to economically be responsible for all the things. We're gonna have to set up embassies, we're gonna have to get our own defense force, all the stuff that Britain is doing for us, we're gonna have to do it for ourselves. We ain't ready for that. That's what people were saying. Alright? The people in Abaco was saying that was Arrington Watkins, and then there's another man, Leonard Sands, if I'm not mistaken. And part of their cry was, man, only about a third of all of the revenue we generate in Abaco is spent back on Abaco. We send this money to Nassau, and that's still the cry today, right? We send this money to Nassau, and the money isn't spent in our island. And we don't feel like we're being treated fairly. Matter of fact, they call the leaders in Nassau racist. These black people, these black racists. That's what they were saying. You understand? Remember, I tell you, I ain't getting into nothing yet, so imagine. Right? And so they also flew to London to persuade the House of Commons to not pass this, listen to this now, the bill, or they say the act, it become a bill, it become a law. Our ability to become independent was based on a vote in the House of Commons. Nothing to do really with us. And one of the things that those who were representing Abaco, who were saying they want to still remain a colony, because remember now, Abaco was settled by loyalists in Part 2. These people who were loyal to Britain, they left America to get out, away from this American rule. They wanted to be loyal to the king, and then ultimately to the queen, right? They still wanted to be loyal to the queen at the time, right? And one of the members of the House of Commons, or one of the people responsible for our independence, told them straight up, look man, we just don't want y'all no more. Like y'all over here appealing to us to keep y'all as a colony. We don't want no more colonies. We giving y'all, let y'all handle that yourself. This would be celebrating now, that's why I'm saying it. Whether we know it or not, this would be celebrating. So I read that and I said, wow. So I go back to 1834, when we were supposedly emancipated. So, if we didn't celebrate internal self-rule until 1964, then why was we celebrating emancipation in 1834? Some would say 1838, after this apprenticeship. What were we celebrating? What was this emancipation that we were celebrating if we didn't have internal self-rule and we didn't have independence? We didn't have majority rule either. I'm saying this because I want us to think as a nation, right? Stop just picking up whatever they put in front of you and following the script. Oh, it's independence. Let's celebrate. Celebrate what? I'm not saying the Bahamas hasn't made gains. I'm not even downplaying what Sir Lyndon Finland and Sir Randall Fox and Albert Brainen and these great leaders amongst our people did. They was fighting the beast. Like we could find stuff to say wrong about any one of those people at around that time. Eddie Hanna, Orville Turnquest, you have all these great, A.F. Hadley. Right now, all of they just schools now. People only know them in the names of the schools. They don't know what these men actually, these women actually did. Because their wives, they're with them. Right? But these people was fighting the beast. They had it much harder than we do right now.
That's true.
So I'm not downplaying what they did, and I'm not besmirching what they did in any way. I also know, though, there's a lot that they couldn't do. Just couldn't do it because they was fighting the beast. We still fighting the beast today. So I'm not going to complain. My good brother Ian Morrow, he made a good point on Facebook. It was last night, and I've heard it said before, but I know he says it often, and he said, you know, independence is a process. It started in 1973, but that didn't mean we had everything that was due to us in 1973, right? And this generation, we can't complain about what we don't have. We got to fight for what we need, just like they fought for what they needed. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I personally don't encourage people to rest on our laurels. And when I do what I'm doing, it sounds like I'm attacking those who weren't able to do what we need done now. Because if you read the plans that they had, all this talk about natural resources and stuff, from way back then they was talking about it. The Hamanization, who could own crown land, who could own farmland, all this stuff was written out. Sadly enough, we veered away from that plan. And some of them fared away before they even left office. And the people who came in office after them ain't changed nothing. The same system the UBP had, in some instances, ain't nothing changed. Right? So, I ask again, what are we celebrating? I'm not saying we shouldn't celebrate. I am just asking people a very important question. What are we celebrating? Because these people who we now want to be honored after. Lady Finland was there talking about the Queen with Jerome Sawyer, and the Queen is her best friend. And I'm not knocking Lady Finland. I'm just looking at how we've been programmed to love the people who literally oppress us.
That's sick.
Because no constitutional conference or no internal self-rule or no majority rule or no independence causes us to reset. We was independent when you met us. In Africa. I didn't say we didn't have our own issues. Which house don't have issues?
True.
Huh? You can't play Monopoly in Buckingham Palace. Why? Because they have issues. That's a rule the Queen made. Twisted our perception of what happened to us. And now cause us to ultimately praise them and thank them and want to be knighted after them. We don't even pay attention that much to the Bahamian honors that we have now. Right? The more we aim to be like them, the more we're going to be punished like them. See, when we joined CARICOM, for example, we didn't join CARICOM right away, but I think we were number 35, 35th nation in CARICOM. And of those 35 nations, only 8 of them still had the Queen as the head of state, the Bahamas being one of them. Today the Bahamas still has the Queen as the head of state. So a lot of people are under the myth that every CARICOM nation has the Queen as the head of state. That's not true. We know Barbados just recently got rid of the Queen as the head of state. And when we say it around here, people start talking about, you can't do that. And I'm like, we didn't have to have us head of state from 1973. But it's something about us. And I understand they was juggling, because you had Cuba to the south, you had America up north, you had England, you had all of these big powers. We was in the middle. All we trying to do is just don't make no one mad. And that's usually, unfortunately, a Bahamian diplomatic political stance. Oh, don't say nothing, let's just keep silent, let's don't scream while they rape you. Because the police might come.
Wow.
That was too graphic. That's what they're doing. Huh? UBP them was ruling there for 200 years. Raping us. And that was not something that we should have been surprised of, because their ancestors are those who have gone around the planet raping people and pillaging. But they all pay. They all pay. I say that today because, and forgive me, I didn't point out the title of today's sermon, which is Independence Requires Power. Independence requires power. But why does it require power? Let's look up the word independence for a second. And then I want you to apply it to each of these times that we've celebrated some separation from the people who have been oppressing us. Etymologically, they say this word came about in the 1630s. Fact of not depending on others or another. Fact of not depending on others or another. So yes, in some aspects we are independent, but in many aspects we're not. A country who is not even feeding itself. What do you celebrate? In the what? That's actually a national security issue, you know. That someone else feeding you. And you don't have control of how they grow your food or what they put in your food or what. That's a national security issue. You don't even have to go to war with us. All right, don't send no food.
1 week.
1 week.
You knock on Rupert Roberts' door for a couple of weeks and that's it. Catch crab, catch fish, eat mango.
You get the rest of it.
Huh?
You get the rest of it.
Alright? So, no, we're not really independent. It says self-support and self-government. It's government. So, yes, in this definition here, they say we had internal, keep in mind, internal. Y'all could roll about the crumbs. That's what that means. Y'all could roll about the crumbs. Y'all could determine, you know, which, how much the constituency can be allotted to fix the roads and fix the parks. And y'all talk with that. We ain't got time for that. Internal self-rule, right? And so, we're not truly independent. And again, I'm not blaming those people who put us in this position. I'm saying if we're going to take it to the next level, let's at least be real about where we are. You can't say, oh, we're going to take it to the next level, oh, we're going to build a bridge to end. You can't do none of that unless you're real about where you are right now. Independence requires power. But what is power? Power is the ability to act or to do. Do we have the ability to create our own vaccine?
Nope.
If we do, we're not. Cuba just did this. That's power.
Very much so.
They cut off the food from Cuba. They figured out a way. They say, okay, it's more than one big brother. Hey, Russia.
They still going.
They eating.
Yes.
They struggling, but they eating. I'm just simply saying that if you see, when you talk about Cuba and the revolution, they struggled because they turned their back on the people who were sustaining them. They're like, no, we don't need that. Matter of fact, if you like them so much, you go live there. That's what they did. They emptied the prisons. Any undesirables they didn't want, they put them on the boat and they sent them to Florida. Bye. Yep. Castro and them figured it out and they say, look, we can get this thing to work. And they work with Russia. So we understand that these people have been thieving for a little while. So they've been hoarding. Which means you can need some help. Yeah? But I'm saying now for us, this power, this ability to do, it doesn't start with the government, you know. It don't start with policies and diplomacy and national symbols and national, that ain't where the power is. The power starts with us. See, because you cannot take the stance as a nation that you are independent when the very people in your nation are not interested in independence. When you say to the people, because if we had a prime minister right now who stood up and said, no, you're going to buy Bahamian. No more buying from the U.S. You're going to set up manufacturing and you're going to make, why do you think music is the way it is in Jamaica? And they let no other music in.
That's true.
You're going to play your music. And it crafted it and it made it to something where now it's worldwide. Got their own section in the Grammys. Every year, a reggae artist will win a Grammy. They like country. You understand? Ain't no rake and scrape Grammy. It's a rake and scrape granny. Mama don't want no raking and scraping around here. There ain't no rake and scrape around me. Huh?
Granny.
And I ain't saying that to belittle our musicians or our country. I saying if we can take it to the next level, be real about where we at. You understand what I'm saying? Power is strength and vigor and might. We have strength, we have vigor, and we have might. But about what? About what? We love the latest of whatever we didn't make. Huh? We love the latest of what we didn't make. If you go to the Bereshith, which is the original books of the Bible, the African book of Genesis, let's talk about what we're coming out of in order to know where we're going. See, you got to learn about your greatness. This is where that power, you say Gador, say Gador.
Gador.
Gador is an energy. And our energy has been used against us for too long. Our energy is used to empower others, and they know that if they continue having us think the way that we think, we'll never empower ourselves. As long as we Google and gaga about why is a QC. Don't get me wrong now. I'm not saying the people who attain that level of QC didn't deserve some type of recognition. You have to be a shrewd lawyer. I respect the fact that yes, you're a QC. But my Lord, you don't have a Bahamian term for it? Use the Queen's Council? What about the People Council? Who's our council? Huh? You want to be knighted? You mean like the knights at the round table? King Arthur and them? That's what you want to be? See, these are the things now, if we want to move in any direction, you got to know where you are. So where do we come from, right? If we go to the Bereshith, the 15th scroll, starting at verse 45, this will Robert Calico at Purim, begin all things by way of the name of the Most High Heavenly One, and Neri, who is the Creator, the Generous One. This Zosir Ibrium, say Zosir Ibrium. See, now that's something to celebrate. Because they taught us his name was Abraham. And that wasn't his name. But in this day and time, we know his name. Clap it up for that, man. Clap it up. Clap, celebrate. Be independent. This how you get. This how you become independent. At least know the names of your ancestors. Don't let people who been oppressing you tell you what you got me them name. Huh? Zosir Ibrium. It says, know always for a surety, because he was being admonished, warned by one of our great ancestors, the Atonai of the day and time, Imhotep, who was the Malak Zodok, or the Melchizedek of that day and time. And he was being warned. He was saying, know always for a surety. And we know this can happen. Just like today, we know we had it right back to what we're about to read right now. I'm saying, while you celebrating independence, the same people who gave you independence planning to enslave you again. Because you never had the power to go with their independence. So you were never really independent. Know always for a surety, in fact, that the time shall come where your Nubian Melanite blood seed, your black family, will be forcibly kidnapped to a land no longer under the control of the indigenous Nubian Melanites of that land. So that's when we had control. Right now, in order to enslave you, they ain't got to move you. Because you don't control the land anyway. Huh? Verse 46, and there they shall wrongfully be treated. So, the wrongful treatment never stopped. You never really had access to resources. You never received any reparations, and they never will. Just in my brothers and sisters from the Bahamas Reparation Committee, you're doing great work. But they ain't cutting no check. They ain't gonna destroy their economy to build us. They're not gonna do it. And to the credit of that organization, they ain't looking for no check. They looking at finding the greatness of our people in order to help us now gain the power we need. Come on? And there they shall wrongfully be treated chattel slaves, personal sexual properties, and even strangers amongst those who shall deceptively and forcibly rule the land. These are the people who, in the midst of us celebrating independence, we still talking about the Queen. And that time when we met, and then she said this, and then we was late to the dinner, and Ray. After 48 years, that's all we get to talk about? Huh? You have a concert. That excludes what you have built in 48 years. Take you 48 years to get the music to the level you want it. We getting Grammy nominations, we getting Grammys, and you say we ain't celebrating that. We want the Queen's religion. We celebrate that. That's all gospel music is. The Queen's religion. She's the head of the state. She's the head of the church. But we don't only have Greco-Roman Christians in this country. Let me explain what I mean further. Right? Let's pause there for a second. Let's do it, right? When we talk like this, people think all kinds of things, right? But let's listen to surrounding folks. Because every majority rule day, they just go lay a wreath by Elo Penland grave. I don't know if they're doing for him yet. So you wouldn't have had no majority rule without him. Or Penland, but without him too. You can't separate them. Or Brennan. Right? This is Surrounding Fox. From his book, The Faith That Moved a Mountain. Page 85, if anybody wasn't. He says, when Emperor Haile Selassie visited Harlem in July 1954 and spoke in Abyssinia Baptist Church of the rape of Ethiopia, I was there. Surrounding Fox. So let's turn up your head, you'll turn up your nose at Haile Selassie. But your leaders was, he come from the Bahamas and he gone to listen to Haile Selassie. I heard this lion, he called him a lion. I ain't say that. That's what's in the book. I heard this lion describe how Mussolini's armies in 1935 sprayed his homeland with mustard gas, killing people and crops and poisoning rivers. Surrounding Fox. I heard him tell how bombs dropped on innocent villages, causing pregnant women to give premature birth. I heard him tell how these women picked up their newly born babies, navel strings, still uncut, and continued their fight. This little man, with a heart full of emotion, concluded, God and history will remember. You ain't gonna distract me with no independence. Because God and history is gonna remember who did what to us and who pretended like it ain't happening to us. God and history will remember. Never in history has prophecy been fulfilled so amply and quickly. Listen to what he says. Poland, France, England, Denmark, Holland, Belgium, Rome, and Germany, all who had recognized and sanctioned the rape of Ethiopia, saw their own cities destroyed and tens of millions of their people killed in World War II. Yeah, you don't hear that narrative. You don't know that foreign aid was started after World War II to help these white countries.
Yeah.
That's where foreign aid come from. Every time you hear foreign aid, you think it's Africa. That ain't where it come from. Foreign aid come from helping these white countries to get back on, because America became a superpower after World War II. Huh? That was their judgment.
Yes.
So you think the Queen ain't got no judgment too? Her own family turning on her right now. Huh? Her little grandson of hers grabbed the blackest thing he could have grabbed. Break off from it. And I ain't saying it because I into them either. I'm just simply saying, we watching. You get fooled with celebrating. You better recognize where you are if you're trying to go somewhere. You understand? So, Imhotep said to Abraham, look here, my brother. You're in trouble. He was telling him where he was at. You're in trouble. Verse 47. And the Nubian Melanites, including those of your personal blood seed, who shall have to endure these horrors of which I speak, shall be afflicted by this wicked treatment, which will culminate in a 400-year enslavement during the latter day. 400 years been over now. They say from 1619 to 2019, depending on where you start to count from in America. This what we should be celebrating. The fact that the prophecy come to an end. They say, Willie Lynch. Yes. Willie Lynch say, if you listen to what I say, you can rule them for 300 years. The 300 years ended in 2012. You ain't celebrating that though. You busy trying to figure out, was Willie Lynch real? Niggas real. Huh? House slaves real. Field slaves real. Everything we're talking about real. It was a formula. Like asking me if algebra is real. It's a formula. Huh? Yet, know and teach your generations always. So you can go through some things, but don't stop teaching. Don't stop teaching the generations after. If you read Psalm 78, it says the same thing. Verse 48, yet know and teach your generations always that surely the Naturu Elohim, who are the Naturu Elohim? These black, African, y'all like say picky and nappy hair, woolly hair, Africans, four-finger nose, thick lips, are angels. The minute we start honoring ourselves, the slave master who bred into you starts to come out. Huh? The Naturu Elohim shall bring all these hateful things perpetuated against you, all to an end in the latter day. And this is how it's going to be done. By working in, through, and around you, causing you to embrace your own melanin greatness, whereby becoming fully responsible for liberating yourselves. Why everything about race? Why everything about Africa? Why? Because we have to get to the point where we fully embrace our own melanin greatness. Not just our greatness. Melanin greatness. Yeah. Don't start this crap about, oh, we just humans, we all help with that. Let's go to the bank and find out if that's true. Let's play that game. Huh? Because we just separate the races when it comes to money. When it comes to cutting deals.
True.
Huh? Tell me all these black families who own these shipping companies then in this country. Why they all telling us, oh, everything going up. It don't go up, you're putting it up. Like the money have a mind of its own. Oh, money. Oh, so sorry, money went away. He's going up again. He's on top of Hawkins Hill. Oh my God, he's going to Cat Island. Watch out. Huh? No, you putting the money up. Tell me all these black people who own the port. I ain't say the people who fronting. I ain't say the people who signing off. I ain't saying the people who they send to talk to you. You think it ain't about race for them? While you busy not seeing race seeing you. And making sure they can do well. Gentleman was on Facebook the other day. You see any white children selling kidnap and mango?
No. Ever.
I mean, if we all humans, if it's a human problem,
Say it, Ka-Hun.
huh? I know one white Johnson. He's been, he don't even be in the ghetto properly. No Jones hanging around the yacht club in Shirley Street. It won't be a Jones. Huh? No, they ain't no little white Chinese. You see ever see Chinese and white children selling kidnap and mango saying, I gotta buy my school supplies.
No.
So when I say it's a race issue, why are you acting like we making it up? Try past social services and see all the white people who's be sitting out there. Go ahead. You better understand where you all at. You want to celebrate. What they say? What the team is for this year? Revive something? New revival? That's the deadest concert. I listen to people talk, but then they go on sleep. You could tell the Bahamian artists they not even have a concert July 30th. When is our independence?
Wow.
They switching Independence Day. When is independence?
10.
It's still the 10th.
Wow.
Like Josh Fleckin, nigga independence. No, we always late. Don't mean to offend you with the word nigga, but that's what people say. I'm saying it this way because maybe in your anger or your frustration or your happiness, because some people like this, you may actually take stock of where we're at. So if we are not interested in embracing our own melanin greatness and becoming fully responsible for our liberation, then we need not celebrate. Have independent observation.
Yes.
Because they lowered the Union Jack July 10th, raised the Bahamian flag, but Prime Minister of Finland didn't receive the office of power, the instruments of power. He didn't get that till the 11th. Bunch of symbology took place on the 10th. John Crew didn't happen until 4 a.m. July 11th, today. That's why they don't want. That's why they don't want us real. Because then we start asking questions. Huh? We don't understand power. We just want to be comfortable. Comfort is not justice. Say that with me. Comfort is not justice. These politicians right now, whatever they can give you, take it.
Yep.
Yours anyway. Take it. They don't have no moral code. I can tell you whatever you want to hear. Because that's what you're doing, telling me what I want to hear. What's power? You can't go to the oppressors to learn what power is. You got to go to somebody who displayed power. You want somebody to celebrate, let's celebrate Marcus Garvey. Let's celebrate Amy Jacques Garvey. How come we don't tell the Bahamian people that one of the chapters of the UNIA was on Lewis Street? How come we don't talk that? And that's the one corner you could drive through today with Marcus Garvey drawn on it, on the wall. On MLK and Martin Luther King and all of these great Lewis Street today. Why they ain't never teach us that? Huh? We don't know what the Reinhardt Hotel is. Let's see how Walker and them was building on Blue Hill Road. All we know is that building ain't got no steel in it, and we need to hard move it because it may fall on people. You can't restore it. You can't make sure that we know that there was people doing great things. The building sitting there, no sign on it, nothing. Got a painting on one side now. But they ain't teaching us that. That's what independence is supposed to be about. Walk the people around and show them, hey, this is what happened here. This is where Randall Fox lived. This is where Lupin lived. This is where we used to have meet. Why is Meeting Street called Meeting Street? Who was having meetings and why? No freaking gospel concert. Singing us lullabies.
Can you sleep?
Huh? Singing for the Holy Ghost. That's why they use a dove for the Holy Ghost. Because doves, as soon as you take them out the light, they go to sleep.
Dead.
That's why magicians use doves. Because you can put it inside a hat and it goes comatose, and then when you bring it out, it starts to flutter and fly. And they move you out of the light of your true religious identity so you go to sleep. And that's why you don't have no problem marginalizing your own artists. To celebrate a God who ain't doing nothing.
Speaking Ka-Hun.
No God who died for us. Watch us go through slavery. The hell with that. Power is the only argument that satisfies man. Marcus Garvey. Except the individual, the race, or the nation has power that is exclusive, it means that that individual, race, or nation will be bound by the will of the other who possesses this great qualification. Britain have power. Britain didn't always have power though. They had to fight for power from Rome. America have power. America didn't always have power though. America fight and got power fighting from Britain. They fought for it. Right? So we have no power, which means we don't have no real independence. It is the physical and pugilistic power of Harry Willis that makes white men afraid to fight him. It was the industrial and scientific power of the Teutonic race that kept it for years the dictator of the economic and scientific policies of Europe. It is the naval and political power of Great Britain that keeps her mistress of the seas, the great naval army. It is the commercial and financial power of the United States of America that makes her the greatest banker in the world. Hence, it is advisable for the Negro to get power of every kind. So you got to get religious power, you got to get economic power, you got to get power for labor, you got to get sex and gender power, family power, you got to get educational power, you got to get power of law, you got to get power of war security, you got to get power of entertainment, and you got to have political power. We have to get power on every single sphere of human activity, of every kind. Power in education, power in science, power in industry, power in politics, and higher government. That kind of power that will stand out silently so that other races and nations can see. And if they will not see, then fear. See, that's when you have power. When you can make people feel. And feeling don't only mean you going to attack somebody. Feeling could mean, I ain't buying no stuff from you no more. I'm only going to buy from self and kind. Don't call me racist, because I don't stand on the line with no Chinese. I don't hardly stand on the line with white folk in this country. What do they know? Huh? Man is not satisfied or moved by prayers or petitions. Hello? You ain't praying away the devil. He was scared of prayers, he would have never been in heaven.
Fight.
Huh? But every man is moved by the power of authority, which forces him to do even against his will. That's power. We don't have it as a nation. Because we don't want it. Because the only way you're going to get power is to become self-sacrificing. Sounds crazy. How does self-sacrificing allow us to have power? Well, let's go the other way first. Let's take a snapshot of where we are right now. Papyrus 1, Book 1, verse 10, page 31. And for those of you on Facebook watching us, you can reach out to us for the remainder of this sermon today if you are interested in hearing it. We thank you for joining us for this portion of our weekly Sunday sermon. And we say namaste. Thank you all for being with us.